There's a man at the end of this dock who wants out of his express cruiser so badly he'll hand you the keys for $80,000. He'll tell you she's perfect, and she is. The boat was never the problem. It was the $40,000 she cost him to keep across 4 years. He barely used her. And that bill is still sitting aboard, waiting on you. That man isn't unlucky, and he isn't alone. It's happening to express cruisers all over the country right now. The fast, flashy, gas-powered weekend boats that cost $200,000 and $300,000 new have finally fallen to where a regular fella can afford the sticker. That ought to make you happy. It nearly makes me happy. But I've spent more of my life under boats than on top of them, and I know exactly why those prices keep dropping. And it isn't good news dressed up as a bargain. Somewhere on that dock is a salesman who'll let your eyes drift from the shiny new boat to the cheap used one behind it, and let you believe you've outsmarted the whole business. He wants you staring at the one cheap number. He does not want you to find the second one, the one that just chased that fella off his own boat. Because a cheap boat to buy is not the same animal as a cheap boat to own. That's the whole trap, and this whole video is about telling those two apart. 6 express cruisers that finally got affordable used, ranked worst to best by whether that low price is a gift or bait. The one at the end is the one I'd actually let a friend buy. Stay for it. Let me give you the ground you're standing on, because 2026 is the year this broke your way. For 3 or 4 years after the pandemic, everything with a hull sold fast and sold high. That's over. The Retailers Association and the manufacturer's own numbers say the same thing now. It has swung from a seller's market to a buyer's market. Hard. Brokers will tell you flat out that aspirational pricing quit working. The seller chasing a dream number just sits there. Inventory on cruisers is building and prices are softening across the board. One broker put it plainly this year. Something like 30% of the boats listed won't sell at all, even after 2 and 3 price cuts. That man from the end of the dock, $40,000 into a boat he barely ran, he isn't rare. He's the whole market. And that's good news, if you understand the one thing the low sticker hides. Even a modest cruiser costs you $10,000 to $25,000 a year to own every year, whether you leave the dock or not. The purchase price is the entry fee. The ownership is the bill. Keep both numbers in your head, and let's count. Number 6, and we start where the sticker looks best and hides the most, the Doral. A Boca Grande, an Elegante, one of those handsome Canadian express cruisers built up around Quebec. You'll find a 33 or 36 footer in the 30s, sometimes the high 20s, and she'll show beautiful cherry wood below, solid glass, built heavy. The men who own them call them tanks, and they're not wrong. Doral built a genuinely good boat. Then you learn the catch. Doral went bankrupt and closed the doors for good back around 2012, and never came back. So that beautiful boat is an orphan. The factory trim, the hardware, the odd part, when one breaks, you're hunting a Facebook owners group at midnight hoping some fella in Michigan parted one out. And here's the sharper edge. The resale pool dried up under her. A sound cruiser in this market moves in about 140 days. The orphan sits twice that, because every buyer who steps aboard knows the company that built her is gone. You buy cheap, you sell cheap, and you wait a year to do it. It's a good boat wearing a closed factory, and that's not even the most expensive lever. Nobody's pulling for you. Number 5, the Wellcraft Martinique, a 32 or 34 footer, deep V, one of the best looking express cruisers of the 90s. You'll see clean ones from $15,000 to $35,000, and at that money your heart starts writing checks. But your heart isn't reading the part that matters. She came with twin big block gas V8S, a pair of 454S or 5.7S under the cockpit sole, and 160 gallons of tank to feed them. Do the math, nobody at the dock says out loud. A boat like this, up on plane at cruise, drinks north of 25, 30 gallons an hour, real numbers, off real owners' fuel meters. Run her a couple hundred hours a season and you've poured thousands of dollars straight over the transom every year, on top of everything else. One owner said it about as plain as it gets. If you can't afford the fuel, you can't afford the boat. That $15,000 sticker was never the price. That's not a fuel gauge on the dash. That's a meter running against your checking account, and it never stops turning. We're into the top 4 now, And these are the ones worth your time, so let me ask the small favor here before we go on. If this plain math is any use to you, no hype and no boat show shine, tap the like button and subscribe so the next one finds you. That's the whole ask. Back to the boats. Number 4, the Crown Line 315, a sharp, sporty 31-footer from the mid-2000s, and a well-built one at that. You'll find them from the high 20s into the 50s. Generator, air conditioning, the works. Crown Line made a nice boat. I'll not knock the hull, but look at how she's driven. Most ran twin Mercruisers on stern drives, Bravo 3S hanging off the transom, and a stern drive is a maintenance clock you cannot stop. The rubber bellows that seal the drive through the transom rot on a schedule every 4 to 6 years, and when they let go, water comes into the boat. Replacing them runs $400 to $900 a drive done right, and if the gimbal bearing or the U-joints go with them, and on an older boat they do, you're into $1,200 to $2,500 a side. Then the exhaust manifolds and risers. The number one way a stern drive engine dies, another $800 to $2,500 every few years in salt. Budget $1,000 to $1,500 a year on the drives alone, and 2 of those years will spike hard. $1,400 every few seasons, just to keep the water on the outside, and the cheap sticker doesn't say a word about it. And that right there, the bill the sticker never mentions, is exactly what put me to writing the Boats Worth Buying playbook. It's the whole of it. Every hidden number on a used boat laid out plain, with a cost of ownership worksheet you fill in before you ever make an offer. So the drive service and the fuel and the slip are all sitting on the page in front of you instead of ambushing you in July. It runs $29. A small number up front so the big number never shows up. That's the entire idea of the thing. Links in the description, and there's a QR code on the screen if you'd rather just scan it. Work it out yourself, and every word of this still holds. Now, number 3. Number 3 is where the tide turns, and this is me keeping the promise I make in every one of these, to stop and defend one genuinely good thing, because a man who trashes everything is just selling a different flavor of fear. The Four Winds Vista, a 298, a 328, a 348, express cruisers, built up in Michigan. Most of them run their whole lives in freshwater, and that is the quiet magic word. Why does she earn the spot? Freshwater boats don't fight the salt. The manifolds last twice as long. The running gear stays clean. The corrosion that eats a saltwater boat barely gets started. There are hundreds of these on the Great Lakes passing from one owner to the next, and that depth of supply keeps the buying price honest and the selling price soft in your favor. You'll find a clean 298 in the 20s and low 30s, a bigger 348 up in the 60s or 70s. Ask any broker who's moved these and he'll tell you the same thing. The Four Winds and the Monterey are the 2 he steers a first-time cruiser buyer toward. Buy the freshwater one, keep up with the simple stuff, and this is the rare boat where the low price and the low bills finally point the same direction. That one's honest all the way down. Number 2, the Monterey, a 322, a 340 sport yacht from the 2000s. Quality mid-tier, the very boat that broker just told you he trusts, and cheap now like all the rest. Twin inboards on the bigger ones, a clean layout, a build that holds up. You'll see them from the low 30s into the 70s depending on size and hours. So why only number 2? Because a boat this size is really a small floating apartment, and every system in it is aging on the same calendar. The generator, the 2 air conditioning units, the water heater, the refrigeration, the windlass, and the full camper canvas that zips the cockpit in. That canvas alone can run $5,000 to $15,000 to replace when a hard summer finally cooks it. None of it is on the sticker. All of it comes due. The hull can be sound as a dollar and still nickel and dime you through every one of those systems in the first 3 seasons. You're not just buying the boat, you're buying everything bolted inside her. And it all began aging the day she was built. Go in with your eyes open to that list, and she's a lot of boat for the money. And number 1, the one I'd let a friend buy with his own money, the Sea Ray Sundancer, 340. I know, it's the obvious one. Every dock has 3 of them. That is exactly the point. She was the best-selling express cruiser Sea Ray ever built, and Sea Ray built a mountain of boats, which is why she's finally cheap. A clean 2000 and newer 340 runs, the high 30s to the high 80s, And she's the one cheap express cruiser that stays cheap to own. Follow it through. There were so many built that the parts are everywhere, and priced like parts, not like ransom. Every yard on every coast has worked on one. Every surveyor knows exactly where she hides her trouble. And the day you sell, the buyer pool is an ocean instead of a puddle. She moves, and she moves near her number. That deep, boring, everybody has one market is the most valuable thing you can buy on this dock, and it costs you nothing. I'll be straight, same as always. She's still a twin gas boat, and she'll drink her 20-odd gallons an hour like the rest. Buy the boat and budget the fuel. Those are two decisions, not one. But there's a reason nobody's afraid of this Sea Ray. Everybody already knows how to fix her. And on a used boat that's worth more than any brochure ever printed, what would I do with my own money? Two answers. If I had fresh water near me and a family that wanted to weekend, I'd hunt down a clean freshwater Four Winds Vista, the 298 or the 328, and spend what I saved on the sticker fixing the two things the survey turns up. And if I wanted a real coastal boat I could sell again without a fight, I'd buy the boring Sea Ray 340 and write the fuel into the budget before I ever turned the key, because I'd have run that number first, not after. And there's a third answer I'll only say quiet. If the honest truth is you'll make it out 3 weekends a year, don't buy any of them. Charter somebody else's, hand back the keys, and let him pay the slip. That's the whole game with these boats. The sticker finally came down to meet you. The second number, the fuel, the drives, the systems, the slip, never got the memo. And it's the one that decides whether this was the best money you ever spent or the worst. Price the boat by what it costs to keep, not by what it costs to catch. Take your time. Nobody's coming down that dock but you.